everybody knows by now the Oblivion Remaster is considered a success. It looks really good, but you know how it goes. One Elder Scrolls game gets a lot of attention and suddenly everybody's wondering about the other ones. Well, today we're going to go back. We're going to be talking about the potential for a full-on next-gen Skyrim remake. Now, before you guys just go crazy in the comments saying this will be remake number 27, I get it, but this one could end up being pretty amazing. Today, we're going to deep dive into everything from the big court leaks that came out, the Oblivion Remaster setting a new standard, some really cool fan-made stuff, and of course, what everyone on Reddit is saying. Is it actually happening? Who's making it? And what would it actually even be like? And stick around till later in the video because I'm going to break down some interesting bits from those Microsoft court documents that might just point to who could be taking on this massive Skyrim remake. Trust me, when we put all the pieces together, it actually starts to make a lot of sense. Drop a like, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, turn on those notifications, and a big, huge thank you to each and every one of you that comments on every single video. I read every comment and I heart a ton of them and I reply to some of them. But I see you guys, and I love the community we're building here as we get close to 10,000 subscribers here on the channel. So, once again, thank you. Now, let's kick things off with the Oblivion Remaster because it's a pretty big deal for this whole Skyrim discussion. Bethesda they didn't just give it a quick polish. They worked with a studio called Virtuos, and get this, they used the Unreal Engine for all the graphics, but they kept the original Gamebryo engine for the actual gameplay. Honestly, for a game from 2006, it looks amazing. We're talking a complete graphics overhaul, the ray tracing, the textures, the models, even smarter NPCs and animations. This whole approach, which is using a new engine for looks while keeping the old one for the core stuff and teaming up with a co-developer, it worked. And it's actually brilliant because it holds that feel of nostalgia that people want, and people get really worried when a remaster comes and they're like, it's not going to feel like the original. Well, they knocked it out of the park, right? Metacritic called it generally favorable. OpenCritic said 87% of critics would recommend it. I don't really care about critics. I'd rather know what a gamer thinks, but whatever. Even Christopher Livingston over at PC Gamer said, I'm quoting here, Oblivion Remastered looks so good that I can't believe I'm saying this. I kind of hope Bethesda remasters Skyrim again. So this whole thing shows that it's not just possible to do these big remasters, but you can hit a home run with critics and players. It's a solid game plan. So the thinking's simple. Skyrim has sold over 60 million copies. It's huge. If Oblivion, which is loved but not quite as massive sales-wise as Skyrim, gets that kind of treatment, what would Skyrim get? And why would it not be next? The business side of things makes sense, and the way they did the Oblivion Remaster, especially that dual engine thing and working with Virtuos, really makes you think a Skyrim version could be just as ambitious. So, is it real? Well, let's get into things that are really interesting. You all remember the whole Microsoft trying to buy Activision Blizzard thing, right? And the FTC getting involved in it. Well, during all that legal back and forth, a bunch of internal Microsoft and Bethesda documents got leaked. And I mean, leaked. In those documents, as reported by places like Engadget and The Verge, there was a Bethesda roadmap from around 2020. Guess what was on that? Well, an Oblivion Remaster planned for fiscal year 2022 came out a little bit later, but it's okay. It's all right. That's game development for you. It also listed Doom Year Zero and Dishonored 3. The fact that Oblivion Remaster was on an internal plan years ago and then it actually happened made these leaks seem really, really legit. They were validated. It looks like these remasters aren't just random projects, but they're part of a bigger plan for Bethesda and Microsoft, probably keeping their big names in the spotlight and filling the gaps between their big new releases. Now, those same leaks also mentioned Elder Scrolls 6 possibly coming out around 2026 and maybe only on Windows and Xbox. Now, 2026 is right around the corner, but what's a great way to keep Elder Scrolls fans happy? Give Game Pass subscribers something cool? A massive Skyrim remake in the meantime. It is a huge appetizer before the main course. A Skyrim remake would fit perfectly in that window using a super successful game to keep excitement high for Elder Scrolls and add a ton of value to the Xbox Game Pass. With Microsoft seeming keen on making big Bethesda games like the new Indiana Jones exclusive, a top-tier Skyrim remake, that would be a big win. The Oblivion Remaster actually just makes that leaked roadmap seem even more real, and this is the model now. Think of Gears of War. We're getting E-Day, right? Well, Reloaded is going to pass us over until we get E-Day. Think of Mortal Kombat. They just announced the Legacy Edition that's going to suffice people until we get Mortal Kombat 2. This is the new model that people do. I mean, you look at it, we're probably going to get a Fallout 3 as well, but they give you something nostalgic to hold you over for the new stuff. And it actually, I like it if it's done right. Now, If a Skyrim remake is in the cards, what would it look like? We don't really have to guess because the modding community has some super talented people and they're super talented artists that show us what's possible. People like YouTuber Leo Torres have been rebuilding iconic Skyrim spots, Riverwood, Whiterun, even Blackreach in the Unreal Engine 5, using some really cool tech like Lumen for lighting, the Nanite for insane detail. And guys, it looks incredible. We're talking like 16 times more detail than the original game in some areas. I made that up, but yeah, that's how I feel. Now, these aren't full games you can go download and play. They're more like tech demos or lore visualizations, as Leo calls them, but you get the idea. Imagine that kind of visual quality across all the Skyrim. Officially done, in your hand. These fan projects are so good, they're actually setting the bar for what people expect from an official remake, from an official studio. And you know, Bethesda sees this. They're pretty good with their modding community. For years, modders have been keeping Skyrim looking fresh. They push the visuals way beyond what Bethesda first gave us. New textures, lighting, all of it. The official Unreal Engine 5 remake could take all that work as inspiration, build something truly next-gen. Hopefully, this is a big hope, they'd still support the modding scene that kept Skyrim going for so long. These fan creations are basically free R&D. If dedicated fans can make Skyrim look this good, think what a big budget official remake could do for us. It could blow us away. Now, let's talk about the elephant, or rather the dragon in the room here, no pun intended. Skyrim isn't exactly a game that's been gathering dust. We had the original back in 2011. We had the Skyrim Special Edition in 2016, better graphics, mods on consoles. Then we had Skyrim Anniversary Edition in 2021, which bundled all the Creation Club stuff. And I'm sure we've had more, I'm just forgetting them, so I know. Now let's look at the Skyrim's release history, because it comes up a lot. I mean, you see it. The updates we've had so far are more like improvements. A full UE5 remake would be a different level. On Reddit, people are all for it. They say, make it look like those UE5 demos. Update the gameplay. They see how good Oblivion Remastered looks, and they want that for Skyrim. They point out that Skyrim, even though it's a classic, it's over 10 years old now. It's way over 10 years old. The engine, it had its limits. Others, some people are salty. They say we've bought this 3 to 4 to 5 times. What about a Morrowind remake or a Fallout 3 or New Vegas? Well, we did a video on that, and I think you're going to get those, but we'll talk about that again at another time when we have an update, and that's fair. There are other awesome Bethesda games that are arguably more dated and could use a remake. But it's that classic situation. Remake the guaranteed bestseller or give love to older fan favorites. But here's the thing. Skyrim sold 60 million copies. People are still playing it like crazy. From a business standpoint, remaking your most popular game ever with the latest tech, to me, it's a no-brainer and it's an out-of-the-park home run. I mean, the Oblivion Remastered changed the game. But it's not just about another re-release. It's about the chance for a true modern version of Skyrim. So what is the community actually hoping for here? We've talked about a lot the engine. A lot of people are hoping for something like Unreal Engine 5, especially after seeing the Oblivion remaster and the fan projects. Everybody wants good graphics, better lighting, maybe improved physics, and there's a lot of talk about updating the gameplay. Now, Skyrim's gameplay is classic. Some parts feel a bit old now, yes. So could a remake make combat better, improve the NPC AI even more than Oblivion Remaster did? Add deeper RPG stuff? Fans are obviously dreaming big, but they also want it to feel like core Skyrim. That's that balance that you really, really have to find and not get too far away from. Now, remember what I mentioned at the start. If a Skyrim remake were to happen, who's the studio to actually do it? Well, there's a lot of arrows and signs and pointing to, at least strong clues, pointing towards Virtuos. These are the guys who co-developed the Oblivion Remaster with Bethesda. They used UE5 with the graphics. They have a history of working with big studios on huge games, doing a lot of heavy lifting. They helped bring games, they brought games to the Switch. They did stuff with Cyberpunk, Call of Duty, and their CEO, has talked about co-development, helping studios get more done faster. So the thinking's pretty straightforward. Virtuos just successfully delivered a well-liked Elder Scrolls remaster, Oblivion, using UE5. They now have direct experience with Bethesda's game and a specific tech approach that worked. Bethesda and Microsoft, they want their main teams focused on massive new stuff like Starfield was, especially with Elder Scrolls 6. They need to get it to us. So Virtuos working on the Oblivion remaster specifically let Bethesda keep their focus on their big projects. Now, handing off a Skyrim remake to a partner they trust who can prove they can do it, that makes sense. Keeps a huge game fresh, uses Virtuos' skills with UE5 and co-development, and does not slow down work on Elder Scrolls 6. I think the strategy is there. It's not a wild guess. It's more like connecting the dots based on what they've been doing recently. With this setup, Bethesda Game Studios focusing on brand new games while a partner like Virtuos handles UE5 remasters, it's a match made in heaven. It really is. So, where are we at? The Oblivion Remaster is here. Looks fantastic. Thank you, Virtuos and UE5. Everybody's now talking about Skyrim, well, Elder Scrolls 6, but we know that's way off. Those FTC leaks showed Bethesda was thinking about remasters years ago, and with the ES6 still years off, a Skyrim remake fits that gap. Fan-made UE5 Skyrim projects are giving us a taste of what it could actually look like, and it's impressive, and the debate is out there. Do we need it? Maybe we don't. But with 60 million copies and Oblivion raising the bar, I think more people want it than don't. So, is a Skyrim remake pretty much a done deal? I mean, look, Todd Howard hasn't come out and said it himself yet, but the signs, they're there. The pieces fit. It makes sense for the business. It makes sense for the fans, and the tech is there, so that would be awesome. All these things come together, the Oblivion Remaster being a success, the leaked document showing plans for remasters, the huge demand for anything Skyrim, I think it's going to happen. Now, if it does happen, we're probably looking a few years down the line, maybe to tide us over before Elder Scrolls 6. And I know you guys like me to give you timelines and guesses, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to say a Skyrim Remastered, we get it in 2027. And I'm going to say we get Elder Scrolls a year later in 2028. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree. Get those comments going. I'll see you soon.